Now at 5:30 on Newswatch.
Athens merchants and business owners turned out today to offer ideas about Richland Avenue improvements.
Christmas comes late for a local fire department.
And in sports, the Ohio women's basketball team begins conference play.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
The City of Athens held a public comment session this afternoon on the future of Richland Avenue. Good evening, everyone. I'm Graylyn Roose.
And I'm Andrew Fowler. Merchants and business owners were encouraged to offer their input on proposed improvements to the busy street. City officials say one of their major goals is to improve traffic flow on Richland so that businesses are more accessible. However, the construction and rehabilitation of the thoroughfare could put a snag in those plans. That's why officials are searching for a plan that everyone will support.
I'm looking for a solution that will benefit all the stakeholders, you know, the residents, the businesses, the tourists coming into town, or the person who lives outside of town that's coming into Athens just to work.
This is not just a pavement project. This is a multifaceted infrastructure project. It involves not only the pavement condition of Richland Avenue, but also the sidewalk condition, the curb condition, the drainage conditions, and the nearby Coates Run, as well as water line and sanitary sewer lines underneath.
Stone says he expects the project to cost between $2 and $3 million, with construction beginning next year. The Athens City Planning Commission is asking for help on proposed Stimson Avenue housing project. It has a legal question about the zoning code that wants the law director to check out. Local businessman Rick Wasserman today presented the commission with a plan to tear down Bellavino's wine shop to construct an apartment building for Ohio University students. No action was taken today, and the case has been continued to next week.
An Athens County man today pleaded guilty to killing a man in 2010. 47-year-old Matthew Wolf of Chansey pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter in the shooting of 41-year-old Craig Oxley. Wolf also admitted to charges of tampering with evidence and drug trafficking. An Athens County Common Pleas Court judge sentenced Wolf to 10 years in prison. The owner of a medical clinic in Scioto County has pleaded not guilty to charges of illegally dispensing thousands of prescription pain pills. George Atkins is being held on a $1 million bond and faces charges of drug trafficking and corrupt activity, and an allegation he carried a gun while committing the crimes. Authorities say the clinic was a well-known destination for addicts, and its purpose was to make money off drug trafficking. A missing teenager from the Plains has been found. Athens County Sheriff Pat Kelly says 14-year-old Isabel Smith was located at a relative's home this morning. Smith left her home Friday evening to go to McDonald's and was reported missing. Kelly says she may have run away from home.
A Meigs County police chief who was let go yesterday had his position reinstated just hours after. Pomeroy Village Council voted 3-2 to bring back Police Chief Mark Proffitt's position. Proffitt had been dismissed by new Mayor Mary McAngus because of a dispute over bringing some laid-off police officers back to the force. Waverly has appointed a new mayor. Mayor Dale Reed decided to resign from his position. There's no word why. Reed has been replaced by the council president, Greg Kimpton.
Public operations at the Inn at Hocking College are ending. The school in Nelsonville has closed Starbrick Bistro, Foxfire Lounge, and banquet services. A study is being conducted on the usefulness of the inn. The study includes a site visit by National Franchise Operations and a review of the plans and financial records of the existing inn. The findings of the study will be completed around January 30th and will include a presentation of future options. And down Route 33 in Athens, Ohio, University Vice President for Student Affairs Kent Smith is a finalist for the presidency at Langston University. Smith confirmed the information to WOUB News today. He's one of 4 people still in the running. The historically black university is located in Oklahoma.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Colleen O'Maro. Right now in Athens, we're at 30 degrees, and we have a strong wind coming from the west at 10 to 18 miles per hour, which is making it a bit chillier, making it feel, a bit chillier than it actually is, so it's important to stay bundled up. Current temperatures in Portsmouth, we're at 37, as well as Gallipolis, 34 degrees in Columbus and in Lancaster. Up in Zanesville, we're at 31, and our coolest temperatures in St. Clairsville and Steubenville at 28 degrees. Moving into tonight, we're going to have a low of 26 degrees, mostly cloudy, but no precipitation. So, Andrew and Graylyn, even though the temperatures seem like they're a little bit higher, it's going to feel a little bit colder, so it's important to make sure you stay bundled up.
Winter has definitely come to Athens.
It has. Just right after Christmas, winter is here.
All of a sudden. Interviews for non-medical nursing aides in Athens County will be held this Friday. Visiting Angels will be holding open interviews from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the workstation in the Plains. The jobs involve helping out senior citizens with small tasks, and at least 1 year experience in non-medical home care is preferred but not required. All area residents are invited to interview. Officials expect a healthy turnout because jobs are in such short supply these days.
Christmas comes late for firefighters in Athens. Today they received a shiny new truck. WOUB's Taylor Mifendereski was there for the rollout.
It's not often that Athens City and university officials take a joyride together in a fire truck, but today was a special occasion. It marked the debut of a new $1 million fire truck. It also represented better relations between the city and Ohio University.
We live in the same city, we have the same community, and have to deal with the same issues.
Issues like fire safety and response.
A significant portion of the calls that the fire department does make are for the university.
Over the next 5 years, Ohio University will contribute $250,000 to the city's one and only aerial platform truck.
We wanted to make sure that we were balancing our responsibility to the greater community and assuring that we were doing everything we could to help with the safety.
The new truck is going to replace a ladder truck that was built in 1989.
Anytime you only have one piece of apparatus and it's 22 years old, you have to be really concerned about failure.
And in 2012, outdated technology.
The new truck has technologies that support the work that's done with the truck that are more advanced than the previous vehicle.
Not only is the technology in this truck an improvement to the previous truck, but the ladder is taller. This will allow firefighters to get to the tallest buildings on campus.
We have a multitude of buildings that, in the city that are over 4-story, and the majority of those are on university property.
The fire chief says it'll be a few more weeks before the new truck is in service. Until the firefighters are trained, it looks like it'll only be going on joyrides. For WOUB News, I'm Taylor Mifendereski.
President Obama traveled to Cleveland today to announce that former Ohio Attorney General Richard Cordray is his new head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Obama says Cordray must be in place for the Bureau to start helping consumers deal with mortgage companies and dishonest payday lenders. Republicans in Congress are suggesting they will go to court to challenge Obama's decision because they think the consumer agency is too powerful and unaccountable. But Obama says the Senate's off and on again sessions are blocking him from discussions about it. The recess appointment means Cordray stands to serve for at least the next 2 years. Ohio's Emergency Medical Services Agency is trying to change a 20-year-old law on ambulance run data. In 1992, Ohio passed a law that keeps the state from sending data on ambulance runs to a national database set up to improve patient care. The state says they need to know the names, of ambulance agencies so those providing similar services are compared properly. An Athens agency is getting more than $100,000 to help provide housing for Ohioans in need.
Coming up next on Newswatch, we talk with the man in charge to find out how the money will be spent. And the 2012 election is officially underway, and some presidential candidates are rethinking their place in the race. Next on Newswatch.
People of Iowa spoke with a very clear voice, and so I have decided to stand aside. And I believe that if we are going to repeal Obamacare, turn our country around and take back our country, we must do so united.
Less than 24 hours after the Iowa caucus, Michelle Bachmann has ended her presidential campaign. Bachmann bowed out today but says she will continue to fight to overturn what she called President Obama's socialist policies. While Bachmann took a beating, Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney took the top spot. Sandra Indo has the latest on how the presidential race stands going into New Hampshire.
The GOP primary field is narrowing. The first casualty of the Iowa caucuses, sixth-place finisher Michelle Bachmann. The Minnesota Congresswoman was a Tea Party favorite early on and was ahead in the polls in the beginning of this contest. But in Iowa, she garnered only 5% of the vote.
Last night, the people of Iowa spoke with a very clear voice, and so I have decided to stand aside.
It was an exciting race to the finish. A little over a handful of votes was all that separated Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum. It was an unexpected razor-thin margin, with Santorum enjoying a last-minute surge of support from evangelicals. But now it's on to New Hampshire, and Romney is banking on support from former GOP presidential candidate John McCain.
I'm proud to be here with Senator John McCain, one of America's heroes and a great friend.
I am really here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make sure that we make Mitt Romney the next president of the United States of America.
Santorum says he's looking forward to a rematch in just a matter of days.
We're going to go to New Hampshire and take him on.
As for the rest of the field, coming in third place, Ron Paul, who picked up a lot of the youth vote, followed by Newt Gingrich, then Rick Perry. John Huntsman, who pretty much skipped Iowa for New Hampshire, came in seventh behind Bachmann. In Washington, I'm Sandra Endo.
Yahoo has a new CEO to help them in the new year. Former PayPal president Scott Thompson will head the company as it struggles to survive and avoid a financial disaster. Yahoo is behind in the search market and has lost ground in advertising. Several groups of shareholders have called for the sale of the company since firing Carol Bartz 4 months ago. Also trying to recover from a financial disaster in 2009, General Motors saw its sales rise 13% in 2011. GM sold over 2.5 million new cars and trucks in the U.S. Car sales were strong for many car makers. Chrysler sales jumped 26%. Ford sales rose 11%. And Nissan climbed 15%. Analysts say people are starting to buy vehicles because they feel more confident about the economy.
State money will be distributed to 75 organizations in Ohio to provide housing for those in need. Among them are 2 local agencies, GoodWorks and Integrated Services of Appalachian, Ohio, which will both receive more than $100,000. Executive Director of Integrated Services, Kevin Gillespie, joins us now in our studio. How are you? And thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
So my first question is, your agency received $147,000. What will you guys be doing with that money?
Well, the funding is for transitional housing, which you mentioned GoodWorks. We work in partnership with GoodWorks and places like my sister's place, who are in a position to run into people who are homeless, people and families. And this particular funding is for transitional housing for services and for rent assistance, to give people some time to get their feet underneath them to hopefully be independent at the end of the transitional housing funding.
So you mentioned that you work with places like My Sister's Place and GoodWorks. GoodWorks is also receiving some money, but you guys aren't a homeless shelter.
No, we're not a shelter at all. We're mostly in a 6-county area about supportive services around family stability and housing stability and employment and school, just trying to lend a helping hand for people to kind of get their feet underneath them so that they can be healthy and stand independently in the community.
Okay, and you guys have kind of been expanding your operations in some at least a small way. In what ways have you guys been expanding?
Well, we talked about this prior to the interview. We've kind of expanded. We always work in partnership with some entity or some public service group in the community. We work in a 6-county area based in Chillicothe and Athens. And we tend to just put one foot in front of the other and grow slowly over time to the point where we operate a school in partnership with the school systems of Ross County. And recently in Athens County, we've been working with Metropolitan Housing and, as I mentioned, GoodWorks and My Sister's Place and the local Coalition for Housing and the local 317 board to try to especially work on stabilizing families in affordable housing.
And you guys have been growing slowly. Have you seen an increase in demand for your services? Is homelessness a bigger problem that we're seeing?
Well, it certainly feels that way doing the service work. Of course, we're in a position of attracting people during a time of need, but I think that probably Keith Wasserman at Good Works could describe to you the overwhelming demand given the economy and the times.
Kevin Gillespie, thanks so much for joining us in our studio today.
My pleasure.
Stocks barely budged today on Wall Street, allowing investors to hold on to their gains after a strong opening to the new year.
I'll be talking about the mostly cloudy week we have ahead, warmer temperatures in our near future, and make sure you stay tuned for my extended forecast. Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Colleen O'Maro. Right now in Athens, we're at 30 degrees with a slight wind coming from the southwest at 10 to 18 miles per hour. We're holding at a mediocre humidity at 72% with a dew point of 22 degrees, and our pressure is going down at around 30 degrees. Looking at our region, like I said, 30 in Athens, 36 down in Ashland, 37 in Portsmouth and Huntington. If we go up into the city in Columbus, 34 degrees, and our coldest temperatures at 28 in St. Clairsville and 28 in Steubenville. For tonight in Athens, we're going to have a low of 26 degrees, so that chilliness is going to remain. It's important to keep your warm clothes out, and we're going to have a mostly cloudy night with the wind dying down, so the temperature should remain the same. Looking at the wind chill, like I said, with the wind, it has caused it to feel much colder than what it actually is. Right in Athens, it feels like it's 26. In Columbus, 23, a chilly 19 in St. Clairsville and Steubenville, and 23 in St. Clairsburg. Today we had a high of 32 degrees and a low of 16. The average for this time of year is 41 degrees as the high, so we're a little bit lower than the high. And in record in 2000, just at the millennium, we had a record high of 70 degrees. And our average low for this day is 26 degrees, and in 1940 the low record was set at 2 degrees, so very chilly. Our sun rose today at 7:47 a.m. if you're up bright and early, and the sun set just a little bit before our show at 5:18 p.m. Going into tomorrow on your way to work, it's going to be a cloudy sky. At 9 a.m. we're going to be at 30 degrees, so make sure you stay bundled up. By noon, actually, no, excuse me, this is for tonight. By tonight we're going to be at 30 degrees. By midnight we're going to be at 28, and it's going to remain the same temperature, 28 degrees by 3 a.m. Looking into tomorrow, if you're up bright and early, like I said just earlier, it's going to be 30 degrees, partly sunny skies. By noon, we're going to be at 38 degrees and increasing to 41, so we're seeing warmer temperatures as we go through the week. Tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 43 degrees, mostly cloudy. Moving into tomorrow night, our temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer, 30 here in Athens, 34 in Columbus, 33 down in Portsmouth. Tonight we're still in a high pressure system, which is we're going to be seeing some clear skies. Out in the west there is another high pressure system which is coming in, but unfortunately up north in Alaska they're getting lots of turbulence because of the low pressure system that is lingering over. Tomorrow the high pressure system still over us, but that low pressure system slightly moving through into the lakes. Looking at our 7-day outlook, tomorrow we're going to have a high of 43, a low of 30. Friday, we're going to have a high of 51. So as you can see, that high pressure system is causing lots of higher temperatures. And throughout the week, we're not going to see much rain, except for on Saturday, there's a slight chance in the morning. So make sure you bring your umbrellas out on Saturday morning.
You know what the good news is? That we're nowhere close to that 1942 degrees.
I know, 2 degrees. Can you imagine that?
I thought it was cold today, but that's really cold.
That would not be good at all. You know, there's some high school basketball games going on in the area.
Yes, there were some big high school basketball games decided last night, and the Ohio Bobcats men's and women's basketball teams are getting ready to begin conference play. We'll tell you about it next on Newswatch. The Ohio women's basketball team is beginning MAC play tonight against the Buffalo Bulls. The Lady Cats got off to a great start to their season, winning their first 3 out of their first 4 games. Ohio has since cooled things off and is an even 500 on the season. The Green and White has had strong play out of their forwards so far this season. Tanisha Benson leads the team in scoring with 14 points and also in rebounds with over 7 a game. Portia Harris has also provided a spark for Ohio with 11 points a game and over 6 boards. The Ohio men's basketball team is trying to bounce back after a tough loss to Robert Morris Sunday night. With the loss, the Bobcats missed out on a chance to have the best start in school history. However, the Green and White still went 12-2 in non-conference play. Ohio forward John Smith attributes the Bobcats' early season success to the team finding itself and knowing its strengths.
I think we definitely learned our identity, which is defense and rebounding. We definitely learned that we need to lean on that and hone that and build off that. And I think that helped us to be successful and become 12-2 with our defense and rebounding.
Ohio will play their first MAC season game on Saturday as they travel to Bowling Green. Elsewhere in college basketball, the West Virginia Mountaineers are heading to New Jersey to face Rutgers in an early season Big East showdown. The Mountaineers are traveling for just the 3rd time this season. West Virginia lost its first 2 road contests, including a 67-48 beatdown at the hands of Big East foe Seton Hall in their last game. Rutgers enters the game winning 4 of their last 5 games. Among the W's was an upset victory over the Florida Gators. As for WVU's in-state counterpart Marshall, they will begin Conference USA play tonight. The Thundering Herd, after starting the season 9-2, has dropped their last 2 games. They could not get it done in the second half of their previous contest, in which Akron outscored the Thundering Herd by 16 after the break. Marshall shot 31% from the charity strike and went 38% from the field in the game. Their opponent UTEP is looking to go above 500 for the first time all season. On the high school end of the hardwood, the second half of the season is underway for area teams. The Southern Tornadoes picked up their 4th conference win, edging out the Federal Hockey Lancers 42-36 last night. The Wahama White Falcons were also victorious in the TBC Hawking as they crushed Eastern to pick up their 2nd win in conference play. Belpre remains undefeated in the TBC Hawking, easing by Miller with a 19-point shellacking. And the only TBC Ohio team competing was Meggs last night, and maybe it would have been better if Meggs stayed home as Fairland stomped on the Marauders. Meggs gave up 80 points in that loss. In ladies action, the Athens Bulldogs are back on the winning track. The Green and Gold closed out the Logan Chieftains late in the game to pick up a 50-39 victory. Athens has dropped 2 straight going into the game, but with a tough 2-3 zone, the defense held off Logan. Dominique Dosek took on the scoring load for the Bulldogs with a game-high 17 points. Athens now sits at 6-4 and will be playing their rival, the Alexander Spartans, tomorrow night. The youthful Cleveland Cavaliers, led by rookie point guard Kyrie Irving, are off and running, winning 3 out of their first 5 games. And they will be going for their 3rd straight victory tonight as they meet the Toronto Raptors for the 2nd time this season. Toronto beat the Cavs 104-96 on opening day inside Quicken Loans Arena. The Wine and Gold's first pick, Kyrie Irving, has been stellar for the Cavs so far this season, scoring over 14.5 points a game and dishing out over 5.5 assists. And Kyrie Irving might be the Cavs' answer for their future. He definitely has played pretty well.
Yeah, it's great to see the Cavs, getting together and winning some games.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe they'll make a playoff run. Who knows?
Hopefully. Thanks, Nick. And stay tuned tonight on WOUB.
Here's a look at what's coming up next on your public television station. He served 2 tours of duty, and now one Army Ranger is literally taking big strides to travel home.
Corporal Corey Smith plans to run from his base in Georgia all the way home to Indianapolis. He hopes his 565-mile journey will raise awareness for the challenges veterans face when they return home. Smith has some help from the nonprofit organization Gallant Few, which helps military personnel adjust to life back home. He says he's looking forward to his other main mission, getting home to spend time with his 18-month-old daughter.
That's definitely a great story to hear about today at this time of the year.
Making a difference.
Absolutely. All right, let's get a final check of our weather.
Yes, final recap on weather. Right now, once again, it is 30 degrees in Athens, and we have that wind 10 to 18 miles per hour, which is making it feel a little bit chillier, so make sure that you keep bundled up, keep your gloves on, your coats, and your hats. The humidity is at 72%, so it's just a mediocre humidity, why we haven't seen much precipitation today, as well as our dew point. As I said, in Lancaster, we're at 34 degrees, and 34 in Columbus as well, 37 in Huntington and Gallipolis, and 26 in New Martinsville. And tonight we'll have a low of 26 in Athens, so getting a little bit chillier. The sky is going to be mostly cloudy, but clear, no chance of precipitation.
You know, for Christmas, I got some hats and some gloves. Definitely glad for those gifts.
Perfect time to use those. It's getting cold outside.
Yeah, it's just right after Christmas. You know, the winter weather just didn't seem to come for Christmas. I was hoping for it, but you know what? We have it now, so.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Colleen. And that does it for our broadcast on this 4th of January, 2012. Thanks for watching. For Colleen O'Mara, Nick Hurst, and Graylyn Roose, I'm Andrew Fowler.
You can get all the latest news and weather on the WOUB radio network. And you can view our program anytime online at WOUB.org. Have a great night.